Hi everybody. It is Tuesday and it's not 2, it's 12:30. I am Jessica Travis and this is my business page. This is the page where I really like to take more complex, scientific, technical, clinical, all of the good stuff, medical information, data, and then I try to put it into a practical form where we can take and use the information in like day-to-day life and understand it too. Because sometimes, hey everybody, sometimes we are inundated with so much information or so many different things, right? So many different things. And we're like, what do I use for what? What is this even doing? What should I reach for? Okay, so today we're going to talk about a few different things that kind of overlap in some areas and could seem a little bit redundant, but they're not. And there's a really good reason why you're going to want to know how to use each. So share this video with people who are users of essential oils, who are into natural remedies, who would like to know how to use different blends. And we're talking specifically about 3 different blends today. We're talking about one called Motivate. We're talking about one called InTune. And we're talking about one called Thinker, okay? So these are 3 different blends that are specifically, I'm trying to get some of this brightness out of the way, specifically being discussed this month. And all 3 of these are ones that you're going to want to know about and that you're going to want to have, but you need to know what's like the deal with each one, okay? So anybody who you can think of who might want to use Thinker, Motivate, or InTune, that's pretty much anyone with one of these. Not a head, but inside there, a brain. Okay, so anybody with kids going back to school, which is anybody with kids, anybody who has difficulty focusing, and right now it seems like a lot of people have difficulty focusing because we're all being distracted and pulled in all these different directions, and yet we are still being required to sit down at a desk, conduct meetings, make phone calls, then help kids with homeschool over here, then still be a wife, a mother, whatever, okay? We have all these different roles and all these different distractions. Then we're being asked to make decisions that are potentially going to impact our kids' lives. And it's just a lot, right? It's just a lot. So really, this information is going to be helpful to a lot of different people. If you use essential oils and you help other people use essential oils, but you're not maybe the best at breaking down the science and helping them understand every single little ingredient in every single blend, share this video. This is the reason that I make these videos. I make these shareable videos so that you can share them with other people who may need to learn more about the essential oils. So please share. Shareable, and I want you to share this information. Okay, let's get started. One thing I wanted to talk about first was Thinker. So Thinker is actually 2 of the 3 oils we're going to talk about today are actually part of collections. Thinker is part of our kids collection, and when I say our, I mean doTERRA essential oils. doTERRA, meaning gift of the earth, is a company that produces essential oils, and they specialize in essential oils. One thing I say is when you're going to do something really, really well. What doTERRA does really, really well is essential oils. I mean, they are the best at essential oils. Hey guys, so there's an entire kids line, okay? It's pictured here. And I don't want to get too complicated and get you too overwhelmed and confused, but I want you to understand that the essential oil Thinker is part of a collection, and it's called the Kids Collection. The Kids Collection includes 6 other blends, and they encompass everything that a kiddo could possibly come up against in their little kiddo life. from digestive issues to immune support to growing pains to emotional support to calming them down when it's time for sleep. Everything you can think of that your kiddo might come across, this kids collection covers it. So it's a great thing to have. Right now we're focusing on the brain and how we can help these kids and these adults get back into the groove of things this fall. So Thinker, when you think of the kids collection, I want you to think of simple, not too complex. Sometimes when we look at, and we will look at the other two blends we're going to talk about today, we have more of a complicated or complex profile of essential oils that are included in that blend. But when you look at the kids line by doTERRA, they've kept it really clean, very simple. Can you imagine or guess why we would want to keep the kids line very clean, less complex, and more simple? So these kids systems are not overloaded and bombarded with 16 different oils slammed into a blend, and let's just throw everything in the kitchen sink into a blend for these kids, when they need to have a less complex profile for their essential oil blends. That's why they were specially formulated this way for kids, okay? So when we think of Thinker, there are only 4 essential oils in this blend. I mean, 4 is enough, but some of the blends have 10 different oils in them. This blend has 4, and the 4 that it has are, the very first one is vetiver. Vetiver, we're gonna talk about vetiver. Then peppermint, then clementine, or clementine, however you say it, it's up to you, and rosemary. So vetiver, peppermint, clementine, and rosemary. But before any of those, fractionated coconut oil is listed. That means that as a base, there's fractionated coconut oil in this roller. That's important because kids need to have less intense of an oil coming into their system. We don't want to have, I'll talk about InTune next, something that is so intense that it overwhelms the system. This is really nice because it's pre-diluted for kids. When kids are born and as they grow, their systems are very clean. It doesn't take much to impact their biology and their biochemistry. With adults, sometimes we need to be a little bit more aggressive, but with kids, we need to start, I always say start low and go slow. That doesn't mean that these are watered down and that they're not going to work. It means that they're specially formulated for kids. It also doesn't mean that they can't work for adults, because trust me, I've used Thinker and I love it. I like it because vetiver is a very powerful essential oil. So vetiver is so cool. It will help your brain feel more awake if you're struggling to focus on a task. So think of kids, especially kids maybe that are going to be doing online, but even if they're in school, so they're wearing a mask, they're being kept 6 feet apart, they're distracted, this is weird, this is something that is challenging, this is new, or they're home and they're trying to focus, and now they're given a tool that's going to help improve their alertness and their brain function and help them feel like they're more awake if they're struggling to focus on a task or remain alert to what's happening around them. There was a study done that showed vetiver essential oil can decrease mental fatigue and improve alertness. So there are certain disorders of the brain that specifically impact the ability to focus, where maybe some of the symptoms are hyperactivity and difficulty with focusing and paying attention. Those type of things are going to respond really, really well to vetiver. So vetiver is the first ingredient in this. The other ingredients in it are peppermint. Now peppermint, we know, most of us know, that it is just the aroma of it is the #1 oil that has been proven in study after study to improve memory. So it helps with memory, reasoning, concept formation, attention span, and problem solving. Sounds like school to me. So when they've done studies with kids and they used rosemary and peppermint and then they had them do math problems, the kids scored much higher on the math problems when they used the rosemary and the peppermint. I personally think of different things that you could use besides just with school. My daughter was working on a project and getting kind of frustrated and like, you know, where do I even start? And, oh, you know, I messed up this part of it. So just, and she was just already going there. Like, because I messed up this part, the whole thing's ruined. And guess what I pulled out? Thinker, rubbed it on the back of her neck, and she's just like, all right, next step. So to me, that just goes right along with the peppermint and the rosemary. It helps them to problem solve, reason, okay? Memory is so great. Rosemary by itself is thought to strengthen memory and prevent the breakdown of acetylcholine. So acetylcholine is a chemical in your brain that's really important for concentration and for memory. So rosemary is thought to stop the breakdown of acetylcholine, so therefore would improve memory and improve attention and improve concept and cognition. So when you combine vetiver, peppermint, rosemary, and clementine, now clementine, when you add a citrus oil, it's uplifting. So you have all this going on and you're focusing and you're paying attention and you're problem solving, but you want the whole experience to be uplifting. You don't want the experience of working on homework or problem solving, or for us for work, to be laborious and tedious. When we bring in that citrus aroma, it tells our brain that when we do problem solving and when we're doing cognition and we're memorizing and we're focusing, that it's pleasant, that we can associate learning with pleasant experience. So that's why we bring that citrus in to help make the whole thing a pleasant experience. So Thinker, you guys, this is the one you're going to want to use with your kids for the upcoming school year. You don't want to be without it. Okay, let's move on. InTune. All right, so not everybody's in love with this InTune. It is very potent and powerful. I will tell you that when I first started using InTune, it was not my favorite oil. I'm not a fan of patchouli. Sorry, Felicia. My friend Felicia Williams loves patchouli. It is not my favorite oil. That's okay. It's really, really strong, okay? But it's amazing for your brain. The ingredients in this one, now remember when I said there's 4 ingredients in Thinker? The ingredients in InTune are West Indian sandalwood, patchouli, frankincense, lime, ylang ylang, Hawaiian sandalwood, and Roman chamomile. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As opposed to 4, we now have 7 in InTune. And there's no fractionated coconut oil in this blend. This is straight oil. This is potent stuff. There is not a drop of carrier oil in this. So you know what I do? I told you this guy with Immortelle and with past tense, I dilute it. I make several. I make 2 or 3 out of my 1. So I buy 1 InTune, and then I get an empty roller and I fill it either 1/3 or halfway with fractionated coconut, 2/3 or halfway with fractionated coconut oil, and then I fill it the rest of the way with the straight InTune. So I make either 2 or 3 out of 1 because I personally find this very intense and the smell is too strong for me. I have a friend who is extremely creative and she has 1,000,000 miles a minute of ideas running through her brain. She smells this and it's like heavenly. She's like, oh my goodness, I feel so good when I smell this. She doesn't want it diluted. It's rubbed all over her, and she then goes and creates the most incredible things. I'll have to share with you guys her YouTube page. She is the most creative, talented person, and she makes incredible creations. But she uses InTune to help bring that squirrel to focus. And how is that happening? Well, InTune has patchouli, like I talked about. Patchouli is so cool because remember I've talked to you guys about brainwaves in the past, how the beta brainwaves are when you get into that beta and you're just like, you're thinking, you're focusing, you're thinking on kind of left brain stuffed tasks to do. You get lost in that beta wave brain thinking. Patchouli increases your alpha brain waves. Those are your creative brain waves, your intuitive brain waves, your relaxation brain waves. So when you smell patchouli, that increases the frequency or the amount of the alpha brain waves that are going on in your brain at any given time. That decreases stress, but also stimulates brain activity. Isn't that interesting? So you're slowing down and you're getting more of the alpha waves, but you're increasing the actual activity. So you have more activity, but it's a calm activity of your brain. Do you know you can have more activity in your brain, but it be a calm activity? And do you think you'd be more productive that way? Absolutely. That's what patchouli does. It actually has been shown to decrease your heart rate, which makes sense, right? If you're having the alpha waves go up, that's the parasympathetic nervous system, your relaxation kicks in, your heart rate decreases, you're focused, you're relaxed, but your brain's going, you're doing. Very cool. The other thing that's in InTune is sandalwood. Sandalwood helps you achieve clarity and calmness, but still improves memory and promotes relaxation. So you're improving concentration, you're having mental uplift, but you're still calm. You're aroused, but you're calm. Despite its calming effects, it's been shown to enhance mental alertness. As contradictory as this might sound, it's believed that sandalwood deactivates behavioral responses, so it delivers this calming effect, but activates a physiological response that can be measured by blood pressure, heart rate, and other factors. So sometimes we see this with essential oils. They seem to contradict. It's like, it's calming, but it's arousing. It's decreasing, it's enhancing my mental alertness, but it's lowering my blood pressure. How is this possible? It's possible because these are organic materials that know what to do when they come into contact with our biological system. We know what to do with this. And so it can have both of those effects on us. So patchouli, sandalwood, lang lang. If you are stressed out and about to have a nervous breakdown, smell some lang lang. Rub the lang lang on your jaws and it'll stop you from clenching your teeth. But at the same time, it spurs you on to achievement. So again, lang lang is going to calm you down when you're just like, you're just really having a lot of anxious feelings. And it helps you let go of that and then move on to achieve, to produce, to do the things that you really want to do, instead of holding on to some stupid thing that is keeping you from doing the things that you'd want to do. Roman chamomile is also in InTune. We've talked about that. It actually binds to the same receptors that certain medications do. These certain medications are known as benzodiazepines. I am not comparing this essential oil to those medications in any way, but there are receptors that medication binds to. Well, Roman chamomile binds to the same ones. So that would just intuitively or deductively help you to understand that the calming effect would be elicited without having some of the negative effects when you have something synthetic that only knows to do one thing. Frankincense is also in InTune. Frankincense, all things brain. Frankincense is amazing. We've talked about people who have suffered from traumatic brain injury. The sesquiterpene content of frankincense, the amount of that chemical constituent in frankincense is very high. It's been studied to cross the blood-brain barrier to directly interact with those brain cells and impact the health and the function of your brain. So having frankincense in InTune is incredible. And I think that was it for what we were going to talk about with that. Let's move on to Motivate. Motivate's the last one. Motivate's also part of a collection. The collection Motivate's part of is this one. This is our emotional aromatherapy collection. And there's actually 6 of them. Again, I'm not going to get you too overwhelmed with how many different essential oil blends are available to you. We're just focusing on 3 today, but understand that Motivate is one of the essential oil blends in the emotional aromatherapy collection. Our kids collection, our emotional aromatherapy collection. InTune is kind of on its own, and you see why. It's just incredible. But Motivate is really cool. So now we're thinking about Thinker, helping the kids focus, helping them to enjoy learning. InTune, you're squirreling, you're going all over the place. You need to chill it down. You need to focus. You need to take all that energy and all of that potential and narrow it down and focus it in and harness it and actually keep that, but focus it. Not knock yourself out and go to sleep. Keep that energy that you have, but focus it and direct it into a way that's beneficial, a way that's productive, and that can actually make things happen. So now we're talking about Motivate. Now we're talking about, okay, you're just kind of like blah. You need to get up off the couch. You need to get it together and like make some stuff happen. You've been sitting there for too long. You've been thinking that you should be doing this, that this is possible for everybody else but not for you. No, we're gonna get out our Motivate, okay? Our Motivate has some really cool ingredients in it too. It does have the fractionated coconut oil, so it does have a carrier base. Peppermint, we talked about peppermint, right? Peppermint is in the Thinker, so we know what peppermint does for memory. We know what it does for cognitive ability. We know what it does for concentration. We know what peppermint does. It's one of the most studied for the brain. Clementine, where do we remember that from? From Thinker. So Motivate is kind of like Thinker for adults. It's a little more complex because yes, it has the peppermint, yes, it has the clementine, yes, it has rosemary too. Talked about rosemary. It does not have vetiver. Vetiver is the one that we talked about in Thinker that helps kids, especially when they maybe have difficulty with attention, maybe when they have difficulty with hyperactivity. Motivate doesn't have that. Motivate has basil, yuzu, vanilla bean, melissa, coriander. Do you guys remember us talking about melissa last couple weeks ago? And the support for the we talked about neuro regeneration, we talked about neuroprotective. I want to make sure I'm saying this the right way. The brain support that you get from Melissa is incredible. I actually didn't remember that Melissa was in Motivate until just recently, but Melissa is absolutely incredible. We talked about it specifically with groups of people who had agitation, who had poor cognition, and so you could see, and we also talked about Melissa in terms of dark feelings and very low dark feelings where people are just feeling completely in despair. So now you can understand why having Melissa in Motivate would work. Would give you that kick and be like, okay, not only do I feel like I can do something, but now I have the rosemary, I now have the clementine, the peppermint that's going to give me not only the desire to do something, but the tools that I need to get that stuff done. So Motivate is incredible. I was doing a presentation in Northern Colorado at a university, and I had my little table, and I had each one of these emotional aromatherapy blends. All the university students came by, and guess which one? I would say 9 out of 10 people picked up and said they wanted. Motivate. Every one of those university students were like, I need this oil. I need motivation. I am not feeling like, where do I start? I can't do this. I'm overwhelmed. I have no desire to even pick up my books and study. And they smelled this and they're like, this is the one, this is the one. So it makes sense. Those oils that we just talked about that are in Motivate, rosemary for learning and memory, basil. Basil is in motivate. And this one also helps with anxious feelings. Coriander. Coriander is in motivate. We've talked about coriander too. This has shown a lot of promise for the management of neurodegenerative issues. So cognitive and brain health, it assists in brain integration and mental functioning. So integrating, being able to take something that you learn, integrate it, and then take that and use it, utilize it, keep it in your brain and make it make sense and use it later. So the ingredients that are in Motivate are incredible. The other cool thing that I like to do with Motivate, I didn't realize, my daughter, I used to use rosemary and peppermint if she ever had difficulty and had a sluggish bowel. This was years ago when we first had this blend, and one time we were out and she had to use the bathroom, TMI for her, but she's not watching. So she was having difficulty. She's like sitting, kind of straining. Only thing I had in my purse was Motivate. I rubbed the Motivate on her belly and I rubbed it on her back and a little bit on her feet. And 2 minutes later, all done, flush. But when I looked at the back of it, I'm like, oh, it's got peppermint and rosemary. Those are the two oils that I would use to help stimulate her bowel and get it moving. Well, guess what? It motivated her bowel. So again, I always tell you guys, look at the ingredients. Don't just look at the name and say, oh, Motivate. This is only for when I need motivation. There are all kinds of different ways that we can use all three of these oils, not just what the name implies, but with what's coming up, and I know personally my daughter's about to start online school. I have a lot of business stuff going on. We have a lot coming up, exciting things coming up for our family. It's a lot though. So I am so excited to be utilizing these in the right ways, having them out, making sure we use them, making sure we share them, and I hope that you do the same. So make sure you share this video so that other people are going to be able to use all three of these oils in the correct and proper ways and know which one to grab for what, know which one to dilute, which one's not diluted. Also, lots of you have been asking that you want me to do this for every oil. You want a video for each oil. You want a video just on Motivate. You want a video just on Thinker. You want one for every one of the single oils and the oil infused products. That is something I'm willing to do, and it's coming. So I'm really excited to do that. I want to create something special where all we do is just learn about these products and we dig deep and we really think about all of these oils, all the different ways that we can use them, and how it's backed up by science, because that's really important for me to be able to explain it to other people, is how it's backed up by science and how we can believe and know for sure that this is not just something somebody made up or somebody who is like a crunchy granola mom. Love all the crunchy granola moms out there. But you know what? They get, what's the word? They're not always, they get discredited a lot, right? Because we have to make sure we have the science to back it up, because there's just people out there that just aren't going to believe you if you don't give them something to back it up, right? So that's what we're doing. That's what's coming. I'm so excited to offer it to you guys, and just keep sharing this, and I will see you guys next week. Meantime, watch for my new surprise and amazing announcement that will be coming soon. See you guys next week. Share this video, and take care. See you next time.